Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my first tutorial slash AV project slash YouTube video ever. My name is Zaldan Ishgari. I'm a recording arts and technology student at Cuyahoga Community College in Cleveland, Ohio. And I'm just making this video to talk a little bit about some vocal setup techniques and some simple editing things that I do when I'm recording vocals just to make my job mixing easier down the line. So first thing I'll get into it, we'll get right into it. Here's some pictures I've taken of my own mic setup. I'm using an AKG P220 condenser microphone. First thing you need when recording vocals is a microphone. That helps. The second would be, in fact, a source of those vocals. In this picture being myself. However, the most important thing when it comes to the setup, I would say, is getting a pop filter. And the pop filter's job is to just mellow out any of those plosive B's and P sounds in a vocal performance. And in between the time of me telling you this and you going out to buying one, you can use a sock and you can just put it right over the console of the microphone. But these things are 25 bucks in stores. I mean, I even have some pulled up on Amazon here, under 10, all under 15 bucks. And most of them are just the screw on. They'll screw right onto your mic stand or a clamp. But they work really well, and it's a crucial, very necessary investment if you're going to be serious with this or at all continue even casually recording vocals. So second thing I'll talk about is just the spacing of the vocal as far as where your mouth and where the vocal, where the talent should be in relationship to the microphone. So I like to always say around 5 to 6 inches for myself, but this can vary depending on how loud the performance is going to be or how loud the singer is. You know, you can move them a little farther back or closer, depending, and you can adjust the gain accordingly on your audio interface. But I like to keep it around 5-6 inches for myself. If you are working with a talent that really likes to lean in and get closer to the mic, maybe in an intense part of the song, I always say that using the pop filter or having an adjustable pop filter like this really helps as being a filter itself for how far the talent can move. If they're gonna lean in closer, or they tend to lean in during the louder parts of the song, just move the filter back maybe another 2-3 inches so that they're putting their face into the filter, but that it's still not compromising the distance from the mic itself. You're not picking up too hot of a signal. The third thing I'd like to talk about is just the height and the spacing as far as my face in relation to the microphone. I like to have my nose right around parallel with the middle of the microphone capsule. And this is just so I have my eyes almost level with the top of the microphone, but I always want to keep my eyes and keep my nose almost as if it's looking up and it's pointing just a slight upper angle, because this allows for all my vocal cords to be open and to not be, I'm not ever looking or bending my chin down at the microphone capsule, in which case, I'm bending my vocal cords, and these are not things that we realize or that we take note of in other situations, but when recording, an open vocal cord versus a closed vocal cord can make all the difference in a performance and is really noticeable. So the fourth thing I'd like to talk about just with the setup is setting levels for the mic. So over here I'm working in Pro Tools, and as you can see I have my little levels over here in the channel, and I like to always, when you're setting vocals, when you have the input monitoring on a track, I like to always use an intense part of the song, or maybe a section from the hook, one of the loudest sections in the song to test to set for levels. And if you're gonna record vocals for the verse or something else, you can use a section out of those vocals to test differently if you're recording on different tracks. But I always like to have the vocals incoming having the peak of the sound, the yellow line, not the green line if you're working in Pro Tools, but right in between -10 and I would say -17. Just because you never want to record a great vocal that you've realized later is way too hot and it's clipping, and then you have to go back and record the whole thing because there's no way to make something quieter once you've recorded it hot. So I actually have some vocals that I've recorded earlier right here, and I have 2 vocals of the same track, just doubles on themselves, and I only have one playing right now, but I'll solo out this vocal and I'll just play it right as it is. So this is unaffected by gain or anything else right from recording.
Hey, hey, yeah. Wake me up with super good morning. S'il vous plaît, montez, moi baby, I want it. Speak my language then, my baby, I talk it. Speak my language then, my baby, I love it.
All right. And as you can see, I mean, I wasn't playing it in a relationship. You can't compare with relationship to the music right now. I was just playing the vocal. But it's at a decent level, but that's going to seem quiet when I start to play the music. But then again, I'll talk about some things about, don't get caught that it's quiet right now. You can always make it louder. We're going to add some compression. I can raise the clip gain right here up and down, as well as the track gain itself. So these are all just tools to make the volume incrementally louder over the process. But here, I'll raise up the volume a little bit. Let's do it to about 5.2, and unsolo it and just play the vocals with the rest of the track.
Wake me up with super good morning. S'il vous plaît, montez, moi baby, I want it. Speak my language then, my baby, I talk it. Speak my language then, my baby, I love it.
All right, and as you can see there, it was within a decent relationship to the other instruments in the track, but that's why I have this section doubled as well, because not everybody's voice sounds good doubled, or maybe even for the intention of the vocals, you don't want to use doubles in a lot of cases, but this is the hook of the song, and my voice I like doubled, so I recorded two also to show for the example. But let me unmute this second track and play them both together, and I'll raise this gain up another we'll do it to 4.4. I'll play these together.
Wake me up with super good morning. S'il vous plaît, montez, moi baby, I want it. Speak my language then, my baby, I talk it. Speak my language then, my baby, I love it. Wake me up with.
Notice that it is playing, my levels are peaking right around, -10 to -15. And this is even actually after I've already raised the level a little bit. So you can see down here the loudest points in the waveform when I hit the high note, that was probably where I was referring when I was recording it to being that level was showing up right in between -10 and -15. So here, let's go back to these vocals, and this is only a tip that really if you're working with more than one vocal track, but this just kind of gets it, you can get a lusher sounding vocal with just doing this simple thing, and this is just messing around with the pan. So I'm just going to move this first track a little bit over to the left and around 65, and then I'm going to move this other one to the right and around 63. And let's go back, and I'm going to play these, and you're going to notice the space difference. They're just going to sound a little bit more apart from each other. A little bit you can hear them more individually.
Wake me up with super good morning. S'il vous plaît, montez, moi baby, I want it. Speak my language then, my baby, I talk it. Speak my language then, my baby, I love it. Wake me up with super good morning. S'il vous plaît, montez, moi baby, I want it. Speak my language then, my baby, I talk it. Speak my language then, my baby, I love it. Yeah.
There we go. And as you can see, they're both a double of the same exact different performance, but same melody, same words. So they just really complement each other at this point. And the tone, they're still separate from each other, but they just kind of add a little gusto to each other. So the first thing, as far as pertaining to editing, that I'd like to talk about is just a little bit of compression. So here already in the first vocal track, I have a compressor, and this is the default compressor that comes with Pro Tools, and the Dynamic 3 compressor limiter, and I have this bypassed right now, just because it's not active on the track. So first, let's talk a little bit about the controls on a compressor. So right over here, you see it says threshold. The threshold is just a control determining at what level the compressor / limiter, in this case, will start working on the track. So I have this set around -32.3, and that means that the compressor is not going to start working on the track until the vocal has reached this threshold crossing. And then the gain over here, this is just the output of the entire compressor after it's gone through and done its compression. The attack and release. Attack is how soon into the sound that the compressor will start working, and the release control is just how long the compressor will hold on to that sound before releasing it back to normal. The ratio, this is just determining the dynamic range that we have to deal with when compressing. So for that last time that I was playing right over here, I'll solo this end section.
Baby, I talk it, speak my language, then my baby, I love it, yeah.
We can see that my vocal performance gets pretty loud. So here I'll put on actually mute this track again, play it solo.
Baby, I talk it, speak my language, then my baby, I love it, yeah.
There we go. And so now I'm gonna unbypass this compressor and let it be active on the track again and play this section.
Baby, I talk it, speak my language, then my baby, I love it, yeah.
There we go. So you can see how much it's, just tighten down the sound. And I'll actually move up the threshold a little bit because it doesn't need to be that tight. Let's play one more time.
Then my baby, I talk it, speak my language, then my baby, I love it, yeah.
There we go. And you can just see how that makes it just a lot tighter in that big section. When I go for the high note, it doesn't do as much damage to the track. It's not as hot on the track. The compressor is just picking up a lot of that, a lot of the energy. And so I don't, compression, especially if you're working in a digital audio workspace, all effects, unless you're working with a talent who likes to have effects on their headphones while they're recording, all these effects can be put on before or after you're recording. It really doesn't matter. It just depends on, whatever your workflow is and however you like to do things. So the second thing I'll talk about is just, I love EQ, but I'm just going to get into one type of EQ today. So here I again have the track bypassed. But the type of EQ I'm going to be talking about is notch EQ. And I really like this EQ because it's, a lot of people when they jump into EQ or they just get started in audio, you think EQ is just to boost. And, really the thing that you'll learn as you get into music is that more or less is more, always. And that's what I think is nice about a notch filter, because it really showcases that just taking out simple frequencies instead of boosting more frequencies can really just help so much in the long run. So this is bypassed. I'm going to unbypass this right now. And you can see I have a little dip in right above, maybe 1100, right above 1K. So how a notch filter is used is I will, shoot the gain all the way up or really high, and then use this frequency control just to go across the spectrum as it's playing, on the music, and just find any little nasty frequencies that stick out to me. And, I have the Q pretty tight right now. We can make that a little looser just to pick up some of the frequencies. But, you'll go in until I tune in on something, or I max in on something that's just sticking out to me as a little funky, frequency, or a little over muddiness, and then I'll just take it, boop, and dip it right down so that we're just cutting that frequency out and we're not damaging the other parts of the sound. So let me play this track from the beginning, and we'll go through and do a little notching.
Wake me up with super good morning. S'il vous plaît, montez, moi baby, I want it. Speak my language, then my baby, I talk it. Speak my language, then my baby, I love it. Wake me up with super good morning. S'il vous plaît, montez, moi baby, I want it. Speak my language, then my baby, I talk it. Speak my language, then my baby, I love it, yeah.
There we go. And this was just a little bit of those right above 1K frequencies that I was bringing out, like I showed before I had bypassed. But again, this is just, a tiny little thing, sometimes even unnoticeable at this point in the mix. But as you do these little details and just little almost maintenance mixing, as you go along. It makes your job so much easier, and it really frees up a lot of space for other frequencies that, you know, would love to sit around the 1K, but that really don't help the vocal flourish at all, because they have plenty of other frequencies in other spaces that are filling up that tone and making the sound for what it is. So again, and I just notched it out here. You know, that's based on what I'm thinking, what other instrumentation is going to be in the song and where I want the song to go. That's kind of what I want dipped out right now. You know, I could even go back in and maybe move it a little bit. I was noticing some muddies right in between 1 and 1K here. And again, it's really up to you, and it's just, you know, thinking ahead always helps with what you're planning to do with the vocals. But again, notching is such an overlooked EQ, I think, for at least beginners, just because it's contrary to the idea that when you're starting out you want more. You know, you just want to take things out in these cases, because if you have a good vocal sound, you don't want to mess with it. You know, you just want to do what you need to do to it. So, and then the last thing I'll talk about with vocals is just de-essing. And this is just very simple. I'll go use this Dynamic 3 de-esser, because this is actually a good de-esser anyway, but it's also default that comes with Pro Tools. So let's play this track.
Wake me up with super good morning. S'il vous plaît, montez, moi baby, I want it. Speak my language then, my baby, I talk it. Speak my language then, my baby, I love it.
All right, and now, so a de-esser's job is really just to mellow out some of that sibilance. Kind of like the pop filter mellows out the plosives. These are just to take those really S sounds and just kind of bring them back a little bit. Don't let them use up as much frequency space, and especially just don't let them ring out as long. So let's start this frequency thing, maybe just a little over 8K, right in between 8 and frequency, and then we'll bring it down about 5.6 here. And let's play this little selection again. And I'll bypass it. Let me actually bypass it when we play it first, and I'll just hop back and forth so we can hear how it's affecting it.
Wake me up with super good morning. S'il vous plaît, montez, moi baby, I want it. Speak my language then, my baby, I talk it. Speak my language then, my baby, I love it. Wake me up with super good morning. S'il vous plaît, montez, moi baby, I want it. Speak my language then, my baby, I talk it. Speak my language then, my baby, I love it, yeah.
There we go. And as you can see, as I was switching back and forth from the bypass when it was active, just those S's were just being a little bit, you know, they were taken a little down. I mean, actually, I'm going to play it one more time, and we can listen just to what it is de-essing, so we can hear right around where the frequency is being affected. There we go. And as you could see, you know, you could see it working every time it hit those S's. But that was just what the de-esser is hearing. That's exactly what frequencies it's affecting. So, and again, that helps out just with clearing more space and really just focusing on the frequencies that make that vocal good and not worrying about the other frequencies. So here, let's actually unsolo this and then play this with the other track as well. And we can just see kind of how that helps.
Wake me up with super good morning. S'il vous plaît, montez, moi baby, I want it. Speak my language then, my baby, I talk it. Speak my language then, my baby, I love it. Wake me up with super good morning. S'il vous plaît, montez, moi baby, I want it. Speak my language then, my baby, I talk it. Speak my language then, my baby, I love it.
And as you can see, I don't have any of the effects on this second track. These are the inserts right here. These are the sends next to it. But I have the compressor, the EQ, and this de-esser just on this first track, not on the second. I would do very similar things to this track that I did as far as the settings. But sometimes you don't even need to, you don't need to do as much editing on all the vocal tracks, and even if I was doing this one, like I was talking about, maybe taking out some of the muddiness here, on the EQ over here, I may put in an EQ and, go over and really take out, like I said, some of this frequencies right below 1K, and then really just tune in that frequency there, and then we'll play that.
Wake me up with super good morning. Si vous demandez, moi baby I want it. Speak my language then, my baby I talk it. Speak my language then, my baby I love it.
And there we go. That's pretty much all I have to talk about today. Again, I don't want to get into it too deep and confuse people. This is, the point of this video was just to give some beginners tips, because I myself am still a beginner, and I just through school and through being around people who are a lot better at it than me, I've learned some things that I've just taken for granted as knowledge, but these are very helpful things, and would even be something that when I just started out would listen to and would take a lot out of. So I hope this video has helped. Again, my name is Zal Danishkari. I actually may start making some videos after this. This was kind of a fun experience to lay something out and to really help things out. And I think there are a lot of tips, looking forward that I could start making and that maybe people would find interest in if they find interest in this video. Thank you much. See you next time.